Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Body, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's going on, Movie Mafia? Welcome back to the Film Room. My name's Scott. I'm here with Dion as always.
What's up?
And today we're doing I, Tonya, the 2017 kind of comedy drama that follows Tonya Harding, the figure skater that went to the Olympics a couple times and was caught up in this scandal where one of her competitors got injured, and this follows her husband or her ex-husband, her coach, her mother, a whole bunch of people, and it's just a story of her life. Have you seen this before? Our first question that we normally go to.
No, this is my first time watching this.
Okay.
How are you?
Yeah. Same with me. I didn't really know what to expect, honestly. I didn't even watch the trailer or anything. I don't know. I know you're not really a trailer guy, so I don't think you did either. But I really liked the style of this movie, like the mockumentary kind of style, the way they even like right at the beginning of the movie, there's like these little captions that pop up saying that it's based on irony-free, wildly contradictory, and totally true interviews by Tonya Harding and Jeff, which is her ex-husband,
yeah.
And yeah, so like there's all these little clips of them with interviews. There's also so that's where we start, is with the interviews with her ex-husband, her mom, her coach, her bodyguard, all sorts of people. But the style I thought was really cool.
No, I agree. And were you familiar with the story, like going into it? Yeah, me neither. Like I obviously I've heard the name before, and I kind of heard about that there was an incident, like a scandal, or if you want to use that word, but I didn't know in depths of it, because obviously at the time it happened, neither of us were born. But sometimes even things that happen before you're born, they're just such a big story that maybe you still heard enough of it, but like it never like my dad never told me about it or anything like that. My mom never told me about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, especially the way they show it in the movie too, like I feel like it's kind of something that was really, really big at the time. And then, I mean, it's like anything with the news cycle, right? Like as soon as it's over, people forget about it, move on to the next thing. And so I feel like kind of a relatively soon after it all went down, it was kind of just lost in history. Because the overall impact of the incident wouldn't have been very big. It was one person that got hurt and couldn't train for a while. She still even ended up going to the Olympics and competing. Yeah. So, I mean, like the overall impact wasn't super huge. So like kind of after the whole scandal and everything died down, I'm sure that just the news cycle kind of something else popped up and people forgot about it.
No, it's true. And I feel like even like the aftermath, it was really big in the 90s. And then there would have been like that aftermath of like, oh, like in the 2000s, we were still so young at the time that it was like, we wouldn't be caring about that. And then once it hit like tens, it was like, we're not still talking.
Nobody cares anymore.
We're done with this.
But
then they did make a movie.
Yeah, I was about to say it probably really kind of restarted a little bit when the movie came out. But I mean, I don't even remember people talking about it, like the scandal itself, in 2017 after the movie or anything like that. But it's
just on our space, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not that big into figure skating.
No, so me neither.
Okay. But a good movie still. Directed by Craig Gillespie. It had $11 million budget, did $54 million at the box office. Okay. And this is starring Margot Robbie in 2017. So I forgot to check. Was this before or after Wolf of Wall Street?
It was after.
Okay. So she already had Wolf of Wall. I guess, this is her leading role. So normally you need something kind of supporting before that.
Yeah, but I think this was after Suicide Squad too. So it was like she's like, no, it was after Suicide Squad. I'm pretty sure Suicide Squad came out like 2016.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, so it was like she was known, but then after Suicide Squad was like boom, like she's like everyone was dressing up as Halloween and everything, and then and then she did this movie. So her name was definitely like out there.
Yeah, you're right. She's become. I mean, she had a little stretch there with, like you said, Suicide Squad, Wolf of Wall Street. This movie. She was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, there was a stretch of movies there where she was working a lot, and she was in a
Yeah.
lot of big movies and successful movies. So she really, really blew up. She was great in this movie. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought she was really good in this movie. I didn't know what to expect. Like you said, like I didn't really I saw that it said dark comedy, but I didn't know to what extent. I feel like there's a couple of ways you can go with. You've seen different, like even Tarantino movies are kind of dark comedies. It's not the same vibe as this movie. You know what I mean? So, or black. He calls them black comedies, but same. At the same kind of thing. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, because she, like you said, I didn't know what to expect either, and she did great in a lot of different things. Like she was kind of funny at parts in this movie, but she also, you know, her relationship is very clear throughout the movie. You know, her relationship with her mom and her ex-husband were very abusive, and she's showing kind of that dark side of her personality because again, like kind of like when we did Captain Phillips, like they're not characters, they're real people, right? But they're dramatized in this movie. Like that was more of a documentary style. This one's kind of, it's meant to make fun of the documentary kind of movie and just the facts of kind of what went down, because it's like I said, like the satire that they start with right away in the movie with the caption saying that it's totally true interviews, you know, saying that right away we can't necessarily trust these narrators, these interviews. You know, it's all kind of, they contradict themselves all the time. You know, her husband says this happened, she says this happened, and they never really, they follow her as the main character, so it's mostly her point of view, but we never know like for absolutely certain like what's black and white, what happened, what were all the facts. I mean, some of them are facts, but some of them are also a little bit up for debate.
No, it's true, and it is like you said, the interesting style of just with a lot of serious topics, and then like just portraying them in a comical way. Is like, okay, well, I guess it's okay to laugh if that's what we're making jokes about it. But it was, no, it was definitely an interesting style, and I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. Well, do you have anything else?
No, we can get right into it.
Let's do it. So we open with, like I said, so there's a few quick introductions to these home interviews. So we get when we see her, Tonya, her ex, Jeff, her mom, her coach, and a reporter that was working close to her throughout these events. And then we quickly flash back 40 years. So, because these interviews are taking place in what would be modern times. So these are post events. So 40 years we flash back, and she's 4 years old. She's just a little kid, and the coach, her mom, is bringing her to the ice rink, trying to get her into these figure skating lessons, and the coach doesn't want to take her. Says she doesn't work with kids that small or beginners, and her mom tells her to skate, and she goes, and she's a natural. So the coach ends up taking her. She wins her first competition at 4. All the other girls are giving her the side eye. They're twice her age, maybe 8 years old. And then we, right after that, we get a quick little montage showing us her mom's abusive relationship. So she's talking down on her. She's in practice, and all the other moms are sitting there, cheering on their kids, and she's like, "Oh, you suck. This is just embarrassing. How could you call that a triple?" Or pouring alcohol in her cup. She's even beating her with a hairbrush in the bathroom. Like,
I know, it's wild. And that's what I was talking about, where I said like they took like these moments and almost made them comical. Just the way they montaged them within the movie, it was just
and the way they cut it too. Like there's lots of they edited this movie super interestingly. Like the way they quickly cut in and out of these the interviews or different kind of aspects of what's going on in like a montage like this. It's quick shots of her mom doing crazy things to her, but it's kept really interesting. And you're right, they present it kind of in a funny way, even though it's a serious and depressing subject. But it was really cool.
No, it was really cool. And I liked how it was like a mix of, like you said, it's like a mockumentary / like you hear them like narrating. And then also sometimes it's almost like you're in the story and they kind of break the fourth wall and kind of like look at the camera and just talk to you. and it's just like all these different styles that I find work really well.
Yeah, they did it a ton of times in this movie that they broke the fourth wall. Like there was even when we kind of get a montage later of Tonya and Jeff
training.
Well, there's the training,
okay,
but I was yeah, there's a few kind of, and I don't know, montage is the right word for training. It definitely is, but like with going through her relationship with Jeff, like it's all these quick little shots, and there's the narration, and like you said, like they're in each little scene, like they break the fourth wall, and she's narrating to the viewer, but she's looking at the camera.
Yeah,
and they do it like seamlessly throughout like the story that's unwrapped. So there's, I'll talk about it when we get there, but they did it super cool. So after this, we see her and her dad out in the forest. They're hunting for rabbits. And we get a sense of their relationship, which is much healthier, much better than her and her mom's. We can see that they actually love each other. They're actually being very nice to each other, and they're enjoying what they're doing together, and they're interacting very nicely. But and then we see the coach after this that is telling her that she needs a fur coat. So in the world of figure skating, outward appearance, even off the ice, is very important. Yeah, to your score, to your personality. I guess it's all part of presentation. So they all need to look super uppity and preppy, but she's not a very rich. She doesn't come from a rich home, and they make that very clear. Yeah. So yeah, she says she needs a fur coat, so they make one out of the rabbits that they've been hunting. That was cool.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool. It's wild though. Like, also we'll get into more as we go throughout the movie, but like the whole perception of just like you got to look this way, you got to do this. It's like it's goofy. Like, do you imagine like applying that in like other sports too? Obviously, like hockey, basketball, football, it's not, you don't get graded, but it's just kind of funny to think like you train so hard at the end of the day, like what you wear really matters.
Yeah, I think that's the difference though between a sport like this that's judged, right, and a sport like basketball, hockey, football, whatever, where it's a score at the end of the game. Like it's objective, right? It's, whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Like you can't, it doesn't matter what you look like or how you talk, or, none of that matters. Where in this, it's judges just choosing what to give you as a score. And that's very prominent throughout the movie, right? She's like, oh, I'm out skating all these girls, like I'm killing it, but I'm not getting the scores because, she doesn't have this super feminine and uppity, preppy style. Like she's, she calls herself a redneck, and that she's, her mom even says she chops wood every morning because the coach is like, she looks like she chops wood every morning. Well, yeah, she does. But I mean, it's that's what I mean. It's the difference between those sports, right? Like but the fact that you can get judged like from what you're doing off the ice, I don't know. I'm sure it's realistic, but it's kind of whack.
Yeah, because they just see you at the end of the day, so they're paying attention to you. But it is whack.
Yeah. So her dad gets kicked out. Next thing we see, so he gets kicked out of the house, and she's crying, she's begging, she wants to go with him because, like I mentioned, right, we already seen her relationship with her mom is not good, very abusive. Her relationship with her dad is very good, so she doesn't want to be left with her mom. But her dad says, "No, you have to get out of the way." I'm like, I can't. I'm not sure why. Like,
yeah, no, they really pushed off the dad real quick with no like we kind of knew they didn't have a great relationship, but it was just a quick turnaround of like, and him having no remorse. She's screaming, "Take me with you," and he's like, "Sorry, I can't." I'm like,
yeah, like you didn't even try to go to court or something. I don't know how all that works, but he didn't even try.
Didn't even try. Like I it's not a main part of the story, I guess, but it's interesting though. Like the dad thing is such a small bit of the story.
Yeah, and like I thought that they were intentional in having that scene with her and her dad hunting for rabbits to show that, right, they have this great relationship. So moving forward, that's well established. But then he's just gone, and we never really see him again. So
and never comes back.
Yeah, you're right. That is interesting that they
like she becomes like somewhat independent and everything. Dad would be like, "Yo, I'm so proud of you. You made the Olympics." Like
nothing.
What happened?
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder in real life if she actually did kind of lose contact with her dad, because we see her throughout the movie interact with her mom. I mean, as she's young, she's living with her mom, right? So she has to. But even as she gets older, there's some, they're on and off a little bit, the relationship, but we still see they have contact. Whereas her dad, we never see him at all. I think maybe at the wedding he's there, but like he's just there for pictures. Like we never see them talking to each other or anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is really weird. It's got, because I was looking for like a then and now kind of thing, and Pops is just. You think with all the media coverage, people will be like pounding on his door trying to find the dad, and being like, "Yo, you have any words on your daughter?" Like nothing. It's just like he just ghosted.
Yeah, you're right. Because we get the paparazzis at her place, her ex-husband's place, her mom's place, everywhere. So yeah, you're right. I would imagine they would be at her dad's too, but we never see it. Poor guy got shafted. He didn't get it.
He really did.
He maybe he didn't give it his rights for the movie or something, and so they could use him. They can only
like Charles
use him
Barkley
for that.
with 2K.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So we flash forward. She's now 15.
Yeah,
and so the scenes before when she's young, it's another actress. Obviously, it's not Margot Robbie. And then she's 15, and now it is Margot Robbie and Sebastian Stan, who plays Jeff. And they're supposed to be 15, but Jesus Christ, they don't. This is like Family Channel teenagers, dude. Like they look so old.
No, I was thinking that too, because even the girl, when she's like, "Get out of my way," and she's got braces on, I'm like, okay, they're trying.
Yeah.
But even that girl, she was like towering over her when she said, "Get out of my way."
I know.
And then Jeff looks like he's 40. I was like, I immediately paused, like, how old was Jeff when he met her? Like he does not look like a high school kid. His mustache,
they're old. They're old as hell. He's working on a car. Oh, sorry, that's not yet. But later on, he's working on a car, and he's saying like how he got a summer job, like driving people around. Like, don't you have to be at least 16? Like, what is even going on here?
I don't know. I think the rules were differently back then. Maybe what was this, like late 80s? I don't know. Actually, I'm just saying shit.
Yeah, I don't actually. No, I think it is late 80s. You're right, because the it would have been even sooner than that, because the Olympics that she goes to is 92, and she would have been in her early 20s then. So she's 15. This was maybe like 7 years ago. So maybe like 85, maybe like mid 80s.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what the driving rules were back then.
I thought it was still 16.
I don't know.
I have no idea. But yeah, they look ancient. They're not at all 15. Yeah. And so she meets Jeff for the first time. So this is when we see her meet Jeff. So she's practicing on the ice and he's watching. That's where they meet. And they go on their first date, and her mom comes.
Yeah, that's whack.
Yeah. And she's just like talking shit the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
Like, she had to know this going in. Like her mom's been nothing but abusive that we've seen. And how did she think this date was going to go? I mean, I'm assuming this was her only option, but that was rough.
Very rough. And just the seating arrangement too. It was like they were trying to they were like in a job interview, like them both facing her, being side by side, just extremely
That's
awkward.
True. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, they should have had a better seating. Like they could have been facing each other. And
mom could have been off to the
side a little bit. Yeah, you're right. They were sitting beside.
Mom didn't have to. She didn't have to be at the table. She could have been like, "You guys sit over here. I'll just be over there." Like, what? I don't know what she's worried about. Jeff's gonna pull him over or something, but just be at the next table over, and you can just kind of watch him. Like, there's no way they could even talk. What the hell was that date?
Yeah, we only see like a minute or two of it, right? Of them. It's basically just her mom talking to them. Like, she's not even talking at all on this date. It's basically her mom and Jeff talking to each other. Like, she's just interviewing Jeff, basically. But yeah, that would have been a horrible. But I mean, it's consistent at least with the character, right? Like her mom's super controlling, and so I get it. But like, damn, that's tough. Imagine like for Jeff, like, oh, that's tough.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's committed apparently.
Yeah, you wanted the girl. You gotta fight for her. So after the date, this is where, like I mentioned, she goes to see Jeff, and he's working on his car.
Yeah,
and there's some awkward flirting. And yeah, he can drive somehow, but she's and then this is when the narration scene. This is what I was talking about, like the little montage of them, kind of their relationship growing. So she's narrating about him abusing her, domestic violence, but she's talking in the scene. So like there's one where she's in the car and he hits her, and then she looks at the camera and says, yeah, a month in, he started hitting me. At the start, it was so sweet. And then there's one where they're having sex, and she's again looks at the camera and she's talking about the relationship. But I thought it was really cool that they did that. You hear her voice while they're doing in the scene, yeah, and then seamlessly it cuts to, well, it doesn't even cut, like seamlessly her voice is her speaking in the scene.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain, but really cool.
No, I obviously I saw the movie, and everyone that's watched the movie knows exactly what you're talking about. But no, it is a really cool like visual of seeing that. I 100% agree.
Have you ever seen that before or anything like that?
The only thing I can compare it to is The Big Short. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I haven't.
You haven't seen that movie?
No.
It's good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's who's narrating it? I think it's Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is the main character, and I think he's the one like narrating, and then sometimes he'll just like turn. And the funny thing, Margot Robbie's in that too.
Oh yeah,
but she has an Australian accent, which threw me off because I've never heard her do it in a movie before.
Well, she is Australian.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It threw me off because I didn't know she was Australian until I saw that movie. I was like, is she doing a fake accent? And I was like, oh, that's her actual accent.
Well, I guess that means she has a good American accent.
No, she does.
Because if you didn't notice before, then
I never noticed.
And then there's a quick scene with her and her mom, and her mom's just saying that basically she should get hit, by Jeff. So she's saying, yeah, I agree with this relationship, and yeah, her mom sucks. So we flash forward a year to a skating competition. So she's now 16. And we see all the girls getting ready, like doing their makeup, getting dressed, and she's just around the corner smoking. So I think it just kind of shows that disconnect, that difference, that she's very different from all the other girls. She not worried about the preppy, feminine, perfect appearance. She's just leaning against the wall smoking.
Yeah.
And she kills it in the competition, but doesn't get the win. Because of her appearance, basically. So this is the first time we see, she does her routine, lands every trick, does everything perfect, doesn't win the comp, and she's all pissed off, and she's talking to the coach, and they're basically, saying that, because of her appearance and her refusal to comply and be like everyone else is why she's not getting the scores that she thinks she deserves.
Mm-hmm. Which is, again, like we talked about earlier, which I personally think is kind of weird. I don't know if I'm stepping on anything you want to mention later, but the CGI on her face, is that stepping on anything you want to talk about later? Okay. What do you think about the CGI of like them CGIing her face onto the skater?
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly not horrible, I feel like.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, I know what I see what you're saying, but I also did read that like they couldn't find
someone that looked
someone that could do the tricks that she was doing.
Yeah,
like she was so good that like the tricks that she was doing at the time that they had to put in the movie, they couldn't find like a stunt double or like a skater that could do them, or they found one or two people, but the only people that were good enough to do it were training for the Olympics, so they couldn't risk doing it for a movie, right?
Okay.
So yeah, they kind of had to do some weird shit like that.
Like I didn't hate it, and I don't want to. I think the concept I don't know what it is. To me, it's like it's very jarring. That's the thing, and like we talked about this like before. It's like it's funny when if like we talked about the Michael Jordan commercial where it's like his mom, and suddenly it's like you don't want to do that to an extent where it's like, oh, suddenly that person looks nothing like the person.
Yeah,
but I don't know, for some reason it's just certain parts too. Like I didn't hate it like in certain spin moves and stuff like that, but I feel like especially like when she's spinning or doing really fast movements, I feel like you don't gotta like plop her face like onto
you can't even
there.
tell, it's going so fast.
Yeah, and sometimes you could just really see, and I don't know, it's just like the face is just like in this one expression, and she's just like turning, and it's just like I don't know. I even like I went to the extent of watching like other figure skating videos just to be like, can you really see someone's face when they're doing all these moves? You can kind of see them. But for the most part, they're moving so fast, you can't even see their face anyway. Like, I feel like you could just hide it through camera tricks of just like just going to different parts really fastly and just covering the face.
Yeah, that's
but
what I was gonna say too. Like
they
just use different
tried
camera
to do
angles.
something. They tried to do something cool.
Yeah.
And I can't hit on it too much. But I'm curious. I just wanted to hear what your thought was on it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even I didn't really notice that bad. I wasn't really looking for it because
Okay.
I mean the only times that it's really that noticeable is when they slow mo it. Like when it's a slow motion spin, then like you can see it much easier. But like when she's spinning real time, it's pretty fast, and I don't know. It didn't really bother me too much.
Okay. And honestly, the slow mo ones actually didn't. I actually had a problem with more. I didn't have a problem with more for whatever reason. Like when they did the slow ones, like when she was like holding like this and spinning, for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, that's fine. But I don't know with the fast moving ones. I don't know why they made me laugh. Honestly, it wasn't like this looks horrible or anything. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
Well, it sounds
like I know that's not her.
It sounds to me that you're just a hater.
I guess so.
Because you're like, oh, I can actually see it more in slow mo. That's fine. You just want to hate for no reason.
I guess so. I just want to throw it in.
Yeah,
there.
you suck. So we see so this is right after she kills the competition, doesn't win, and she's back at home, and her mom's talking shit to her, saying, oh, that was a disgrace, how you think you outskated them, no, you were horrible, blah blah blah. And they get in a screaming match, and her mom throws a knife at her and it stabs her in the arm. And she kind of takes it like a champ. Like they're screaming at each other. Her mom throws a knife, it sticks in her arm, and she just kind of like pauses. She just like looks at her arm, and then they're like pausing for a minute. She just kind of like pulls it out and puts it on the table and walks away. Like that was tough.
Yeah, that was tough. that scene was crazy to me because I thought because as the movie is progressing, we're like they have a bad relationship. I was like, okay, is this gonna be the turning point where it's like, oh, maybe I'll go too far? But that was nothing.
No,
it gets worse.
Yeah, her mom.
Like I thought,
her mom was like, I'm not sorry. Like she threw a knife at her arm and was like, yeah, well, oh, boo hoo, what are you gonna do? Like, damn,
crazy.
Yeah, madness. So that's the last straw for Tonya. She moves out. Her and Jeff get a place together, and things go well for them at the start. There's a few scenes of them. She's working on her costume, and they're joking with each other and running around the house. They're having a good time. So we're like, okay, nice. Things are going well with Jeff, but we already know that he's gonna be abusive because she told us. But like, all right, things are going well at least. She is then in another competition. We get to another competition. She skates her ass off and doesn't win again. And this time she throws off her skate guards, skates right up to the judges, and basically calls them out. She's like, "Oh, how do I get a fair score from you guys? I'm doing all the tricks. I'm landing all my turns. Like, what can I do to get a fair score?" And the judge basically admits, she says, well, we're judging on presentation too. So she's like, yeah, you bum redneck, you gotta play the game.
Yeah, and she tells him to suck her dick.
Yeah, she calls her that's why a little the unlady likeness is what's her downfall. But I mean, you can't blame her in a chance like this. She's like, I'm better than all these girls.
No, for sure. And it's just like the only reason is like I can't afford to wear these things. So like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, she even said that. She's like, we judge on appearance, and the girl kind of like grills her costume.
Yeah,
and she's like, well, unless you have like $3,000 for me to get a costume, this is all I got.
Yeah, they're just making her own stuff.
Yeah,
she's putting in the work.
I didn't even think it looked that bad, honestly.
No, I didn't either. Honestly, that was like my exact thought too. I'm like, it looks, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I mean, I'm not a figure.
But again, we don't
expert.
exactly. We're not watching figure skating all the time, so we don't know what the outfits even should look like. To be honest, so we're kind of like, yeah.
But what killed me about this is like after she goes to the judge, she calls him out. She turns around to skate back off the rink, and the girl that was like doing her routine was still standing there like posing. Like she had finished her routine and like did a pose, and Tonya runs out, confronts the judges, comes back, and the girl's still there smiling, posing.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't even catch that.
This is one of those things, you have to do all these stupid little things to get scores just for presentation, but it doesn't mean anything. But like it's just part of the score for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny that she's there screaming at the judges, and you're just there posing.
Yeah, she can't
like,
break. Yeah, she can't break.
How awkward
She's like,
that
I gotta hold it.
Yeah,
hella awkward. She's like, oh, just keep the smile going and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Just to get her score and come 8th place in regionals. Trash. So right after this, she's in the dressing room, and her coach is saying, basically, what everyone else is saying is like, if you want the scores, like, you have to act a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you have to dress a certain way. I'm sorry, like, you're really good, like, we all know it, but you have to do this. And she gets mad and fires her coach. Then her and Jeff get married.
Yep.
So she admits, she's like, oh, sometimes you do crazy, stupid things when you're young, like I did when I married Jeff. So they get married. There's a little shot. There's, they're taking pictures. They're playing in the cake, having cake, doing all the fun wedding stuff. And then she's out in the hallway, kind of getting some food or something. And her mom comes out, so they have a little one-on-one. And I was like, okay, maybe she's gonna, say something nice. It's her wedding day. She's got her wedding dress on. And nope, her mom still says, marrying the first idiot that you found. She's like, you fuck dumb. You don't marry dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's a crazy
I wrote that
bar.
down too. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I even thought too, all these moments I'm like, okay, there's gonna be some remorse.
Right.
Because again, we're both coming in this movie not knowing how the relationship with her and mom's gonna end. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe at some point, if they finally like maybe got on some kind of common ground. But every moment she's gotta
just
say
more
some
shit.
Oh,
and now she's shitting on Jeff, that she was so happy with Jeff because he was beating the shit out of her daughter.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And now she's like, nope, fucking married an idiot. Then we get to another competition, which nationals, and there's a heckler. So she has a new coach now, so she's getting ready. She's about to go on the ice, and she's standing just outside the rink, and there's a heckler that's going crazy on her. You suck. Where'd you park your semi or whatever? Like, he's saying all these manly things about her and just going in on her. And her coaches, calming her down, being good, don't worry, you're gonna kill this, because this is where she's going to attempt the triple axel for the first time, which is a figure skating move, which is like 3 spins, which has never been done before.
Yeah, in America.
Yeah, no American woman had ever done it before.
Yeah.
So she's going on in this competition, and it's part of her routine, so everyone knows she's going to try it. We'll see how it happens. So she's a little nervous. But and then the heckler goes and sits down, and her mom pays him.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, how fucking toxic do you have to be that you can you could heckle her yourself? No, you got to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit much. I don't know. I wonder if that was even true. There's so many things like you wonder, like, if there's only so many things you could like go research and be like, yeah, that scene was like, she's not out there saying this scene was true, this wasn't, but like, one thing like that, I'm like, was that true? I don't know, but
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, especially because, like I said, they start off right away saying that a lot of this is satire, right? Like the interviews, they're contradicting themselves. We don't even know for sure all the facts of everything. So, and the mockumentary style, right? It's supposed to be funny. True. There's some over the top kind of stuff in there. Like Sean, who's just a fucking menace.
Oh my goodness,
he's amazing. I love Sean. But
oh my God,
so like something like that, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not true, just because they took a lot of liberties in here and they juiced it up. Something like that, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, 100%.
So she gets out on the ice and she lands the triple axel. So you see her, she's super happy, finishes her routine. Everyone cheers her on, and she kind of becomes a little bit famous after this. Like, this was the big thing, the first American woman to ever land this triple axel. She's, for sure going to the Olympics, and she becomes a star overnight, basically. And her and Jeff's relationship starts to get bad. They both, say after the triple axel that everything was different, because she becomes the face of figure skating. She has all these like higher demands, kind of, because they're both really poor, right? They were already poor, and then they moved out. So they're super poor, and she's like, "Man, I just wanted some fucking Dove bars."
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm sorry, I can't afford Dove bars." And she's like, or what do you say? Eskimo pies are just as good. She's like, "Fuck Eskimo pies. I want a goddamn." She's like, "I landed a triple axle. I want a fucking Dove bar."
Yeah, and then he just clocks her. I'm like, God damn, man.
It's rough, dude.
It is rough. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they do them in like these comical ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like these vicious beatings or anything. It's like these little like slapstick punches where like you get hit and then your head goes flying back or whatever it is. Or like he has like lettuce in his hand. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're like these weird hits that's just like they do it in a comical way. Again, I'm not saying it is funny, but
a couple of them are pretty nasty. Like a couple of them, he bashes her head into like a window and like the glass breaks.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty wild.
A couple of them are pretty nasty. But you're right. It's even those ones. It's done so like fast, and like the characters even play it off so nonchalantly, especially like for Tonya, because right, like she growing up, her mom was doing this to her, so she was, she even says in an interview, she's like, "This was just normal to me. Like getting abused was just a way of life." So like when she doesn't get hit and then just fall on the ground and cry, and we see her like being super depressed, like she takes the hit and she just like says "fuck you" and like walks away. So like it kind of makes us feel not as bad about it. I don't know.
No, I think it's done by design too, because if we even go back to that knife scene, that was like intense, and they slowed and they stayed in it because they wanted you to feel that moment. You know what I mean? But all the other hits, if they did that for every hit, the movie would be a lot longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of hits.
Like if they want you to feel all those hits and like feel the emotions, but I feel like they were just all quick hits where it was just like, all right, let's go. Like this is just we gotta add these in like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, you're right. Like the difference that they made with the knife scene was it was jarring. Like and like you say, I think that probably was intentional. They want you to feel this one like it's like it means a little bit more than all the other ones. Like all the other ones are just kind of it happens, like it's part of her almost daily life, but this one means a little bit more, so we'll stay in it for a little bit. Good point. So she files a restraining order on Jeff, and then Jeff's trying to call her a couple times. She's hanging up on him, and this is when him and Sean, who's his buddy, and they drive for hours. So he's like, no, let's go. So they drive, and we see a couple of shots of them in the car, and it's daytime, and then it's nighttime, and then Sean's in the back seat, and he's just talking shit the whole time, like saying like, no, man, I'm a Navy Marine. I've been in Russia, working with spies. Like, no, we're gonna get this shit done. And like nobody even asked him any of this.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's just talking. All
Jeff
this
is just driving and he's not even responding.
It's so good, man. Like he's and for some reason he's in the back seat for one of these cuts, and he's eating the whole
shirtless.
time. Yeah, Sean is fucking hilarious, man, for no reason, but he's so committed to the bit of being like a super spy. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the whole scene was just hilarious, man. Even like just the subtle stuff of just during the call too, where it's just like she hangs up on him and he's like, oh, she did not. He's like, mom, can you call back? She's like, yeah, call. It's local, ma. It's local. It's like, mom, can you help us out a bit here? Like
one more time, please, mom. Yeah. One more time, please. Oh man, yeah, but that's what I mean. It's so funny. Like he's begging his mom because he still lives with his parents.
Yeah,
but he's also claiming to be this international super spy. It's so good. But what I find funny is like, so they go on this drive. They pull up to the skating rink where Tonya's training. Jeff walks up. He yells because he's up in the stands. He yells. He's like, "No, fuck you!" Flips her off and then walks away. I was like, "You drove." I don't know how many hours, but it was a long time because we see the night and day switch. Just for that?
That's ultimate pettiness. There's no cell phones. You gotta be that. You gotta be that petty.
Well, he tried calling her. She was hanging up. So what else could he do?
Yeah, there's nothing else. You can't make a post about her or anything like that.
Yeah, subtweet her or something.
Yeah, exactly.
We need like the opposite of the Ferris Bueller lazy award. goes to
Oh
him.
yeah, true. The Jeff.
The
Yeah,
Jeff,
the Jeff award.
Jeff
Who's doing the
commitment
most?
award. Yeah, exactly. He wins that one.
Might have to take note on that. The Jeff award. That might be something.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, let us know if you think we should add that Jeff doing the most award. Yeah, so he gets some Dove bars finally. So he fills up the freezer, and somehow she agrees to come back. You know, she does say, she in the narration, she says, which is kind of like human nature, and I understand. She's like, I wanted to be loved, I wanted to feel loved.
Yeah.
So she comes back and she opens up the freezer, and it's full top to bottom with Dove bars, and that's all she needed. She's like, yeah, he loves me. He got me some ice cream bars. So they get back together. But she says her skating is getting worse. So we see a few clips of her like falling down in routines and stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess all just the distractions and stuff is getting to her. And we get to the 92 Olympics, and she goes to do her routine. And I kind of thought that this would be a bigger scene, but it's really quick. Like I thought,
it's the Olympics.
Yeah. I thought it was like all the build up, like, oh, I made it to the Olympics, and like, here's what I've been working for, and here's what's gonna happen. But it was very, very small. Like, she does a routine, she doesn't land the triple axel that was part of routine. She falls over, so she gets fourth place, and that's pretty much it for that. We were like, oh
yeah,
all right. Did you have anything to say?
Yeah, no, it's quick. No, it's a good point. Yeah, it was really quick. I liked how like we had like the flashback of like her saying like, oh, it wasn't really my fault. Then you get like the flashback of her like all the drinking she was doing, waking up, hitting the alarm, and drinking a beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only thing I really had to say about that. But yeah, no, it was really quick. I guess because like I think in the grand scheme of it, it's not like the big thing of the whole.
Yeah, I get
movie.
it. I get it now, having like watched the rest of the movie. But I was like, oh, I thought this.
Yeah, when you go into something as big as the Olympics, you think
I thought this was a
bigger thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Like we spent more time in national events.
Yeah,
than the actual Olympics.
100%. Yeah, exactly. 100%. We just see her routine. She sees she doesn't land it, and that's it. And we see her sad in the dressing room, and we're like, oh, okay. I guess she didn't do well at the Olympics. I guess that's it.
No.
So they get back, and we see some more of her and Jeff fighting. But this time, she calls the cops. She gets the cops involved, and they get divorced. And then there's a really cool long take here. I don't know if you remember this, but it shows Jeff post-divorce, kind of in sadness and depression throughout the house. But like the camera, it's all one long shot, and there's the camera of him in his bedroom, and then it comes out into the hallway, and then goes into the kitchen, and then he's in the kitchen, and he's sad, and then it comes out of the kitchen back into the hallway through to the living room, and he's lying on the floor there. So I don't even know how they filmed this, if he was like running around behind the camera.
Yeah.
But he's in different clothes and stuff, so I don't know if it was edited a certain way, or I don't know.
Probably the second, because like when I first watched it, I was like, oh, it looks like a good like one take, but it probably just they blocked it perfectly. Like you said, probably cut. It's still the way they made it look like it was one take, which was really like a powerful take. But like it'd be a lot for him. Like you said, he's wearing different clothes. If he's wearing the same clothes, then maybe like maybe he's running around. But and then they sped it up through editing or slowed it down through editing. But it's still a really good shot regardless. However they did it.
They could have done that. They could have maybe just slowed it down, like had the camera moving really slow. Oh, but then he would have to been moving at like hyper speed
and changing clothes.
Like changing, I don't know. But I thought that was a cool shot. I
agree.
So he then pulls up to her because they get divorced, so she moves out. She's in a hotel. He pulls up with a gun.
Yeah.
He breaks the door in. They're yelling at each other. She kicks him and then tries to run away, and he shoots her. He hits her. I don't know if it like bounced off the car and hit her or something.
Well, yeah, I think that's what happened.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
like
that's what I thought too.
I think he shot the car and like the I don't know if it's the debris or if the actual bullet like bounced and then grazed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but she starts bleeding. But like from where he shot and where she got hit, like he didn't shoot her in the head. She would have died.
Yeah.
But
no, true.
But anyways, he shoots her. And it's funny here because, like I said, they're at a motel, so there's a gunshot. So everyone pulls up out of their rooms and like is looking at him because she's at the car. He runs out, grabs her, puts her in the car. And he's like, "Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry, everyone." Like they just heard a gunshot. She's bleeding, and you're stuffing her in the car, driving away. What do you mean everything's fine? Everything is not fine.
And the fact that like the first dude he pulled, like he said, "Don't worry," like he had the gun pointed at the dude, like, "Yo, chill out," like, "Yo," it's like, all right, whatever, dog.
Everything's fine.
Like, if you say so.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that maybe that's just casual. That's just people accustomed to weird shit at motels. Like, you know what? That's none of my business. I'm going back to bed. This guy's pulling a gun at me. All right.
Yeah, you might be right. Especially because
let me go back to sleep.
Yeah, especially like in the movies, right? The motel is always where like crazy bad shit goes down.
Yeah.
So I've like I wonder if like me personally, if I'm on like a road trip or something, and say I had to stop, like I don't think I'm ever stopping at one of those motels that are like they're only one or maybe two levels and they're like wide. I don't know, man. Yeah. I feel like someone's gonna get kidnapped or the whole place is gonna blow up or something bad's gonna happen, man. I've watched too many movies.
No, I agree with you. It's just like you said. There's so many stories that just like the plot is like creepy motel or whatever it is. It's just like you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, or even just like it's the vibrating beds and it's just prostitution going on or like human traffic, like not good stuff. Always not good stuff. I guess I don't know. In a movie, I've just been trained that when I get to a motel, some bad shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So she's waiting tables because she says, getting fourth in the Olympics doesn't get you any sponsorships or anything like that. So, and she's broke, so she's waiting tables and she's out on her smoke break, and her old coach comes and talks to her, convinces her to train again for the next Olympics because they said that the Olympic Committee announced that it's going to be 2 years and not 4. I don't know why they actually did this. I should have looked into that.
Yeah,
but
I was thinking the same thing too. I remember like the recent of with the Olympics, like things got moved around because of like COVID and everything. Yeah. But I wonder what it was back then. Like, was there some kind of? I don't think there was like a sickness or going around or anything. Like, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyways, she convinces her to get back into training, which makes sense. Like 2 years, like you can do something and you wouldn't be too far out, but 4 years that can be a long time, especially if you're just waiting tables the whole time. Like, yeah,
no, true.
So then we get the training montage that we were talking about. So we see her, climbing and running through the forest with a bag on her shoulder. I don't even know what's in the bag.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's supposed to be something heavy, maybe rocks or something.
I was gonna say rice or something.
Or rice, maybe rice.
I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah, honestly. She's doing all these different training things, and there's all the fourth wall breaks in this. Like, the coach is like, she really did this. As she's carrying the thing, and then she's throwing up and this, and then we see her do something else. It's like, and this, like there's all these moments where they're talking to the audience and bring us out of the movie, and I don't know, it's so cool. I like the way they did it.
No, I liked it too, and like the Barracuda is a hype song to do it on too.
True,
like a rock band. But I was expecting like a flip at the end. You mean like she did this and this, and then have her do something. She didn't do this. I was waiting for that. Joe. Like, have her do something completely ridiculous, and then it's like
that would have been great.
I don't know why they didn't do that. Just have her do something ridiculous and be like, she didn't do this one though.
Yeah, have her do a backflip and then lift a building or something.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, she didn't do this.
We're already in an absurd movie, so
you're right. That would have been great. Missed opportunity.
Extended edition, maybe.
Yeah. And then we see her at another competition. She pulls up on the judge this time in the parking lot and tells him to roll his window down, and she asks again. She's like, what can I do to get a fair score? And the judge admits to her that it's about her image, and he said it's not about skating. It's never been about just skating. He says you're representing America, so we want a wholesome American family. And I kind of get it in that sense. I'm not saying it's right, but I kind of get it because, like you said, like if this is for the Olympics, then you're representing the country. Yeah, so it's not just about your performance on the ice. It is about the extracurriculars in that sense. So I could kind of get that at least.
Yeah. No, they do that same. It's like they put it the same standard as like a president, because they always say they want the presidents to be like, you know what, you don't have like no bachelor presidents. It's so they always have like a wife and kids. You know what I mean? It's just funny that they want that same thing with her. It's like, well, she doesn't have, like, she can't force it.
And she's also like 22 or something. Like she's really young. So I mean, like the fact that you would have to have a wife or a husband and kids at the time, and well, I guess it's not so much that, but it's also
more
her
so the
parents.
parents.
Yeah, it's a relationship with her
no, that's
parents. So she says, all right, you know, if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. So she goes to see her mom. She's basically trying to get her wholesome American family, at least have that public perception, just to be able to show people that she has her family all together. So she goes to your mom, and her mom's totally unapologetic about how she raised her, saying, you know, I raised you to be tough, and I made you a champion. You know, being nice doesn't get you anywhere, blah blah blah. And so or go ahead, you have something to say?
No, I was just gonna say there was just one line in here that killed me, even though it's supposed to be like a somber moment. She was like, "Was anything good enough for you?" She's like, "You were soft." She was like, "At 3?"
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, she's kind of right. I mean, like, what do you want me to be doing at 3?
Yeah, like, I don't know, that was the way she at 3. I was like, yeah, damn, man, like at 3 you were soft.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
What did you want from a 3?
Yeah, a 3-year-old falls over, scrapes their knee, starts crying. Soft. Get up.
I mean, we saw a little bit of that. She wouldn't even let her go to the bathroom in the early parts.
Yeah, and she yeah, exactly. That's right. She pees herself.
Skate wet.
Yeah,
like, damn.
I don't know how that makes you tougher in theory, or how that makes you a champion. But I mean, she did say, you know, oh, I thought she would skate better when she was pissed off.
Yeah,
which some people do. You know, they perform when they're pissed off. You know, Michael Jordan. You know, he had,
true.
Like in the Last Dance, every 10 seconds you need to make something personal, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, calling a 3-year-old soft, that doesn't. That was funny. So she, you know, it doesn't really work out with her mom to get that part of her wholesome American family, but she calls Jeff to try and get him involved, and this is when they all say, and then it was the incident. So they all start talking about the incident, and we're like, oh, what was the incident? And this is where we both said, like, we didn't know what the incident was. If you knew historically what happened, I guess you know what the incident is.
Yeah.
So they're at she's at the rink again. She's about to do a routine, and there's a cop that pulls up and says that they received a death threat. So, you know, they said that if they received a threat that if Tonya goes out and does a routine, she's going to get shot twice in the back. And she was like, damn. And Jeff is like, oh, well, this kind of happens all the time. Like, he plays it off like it's nothing.
Yeah,
right?
I know. It's like, what?
Someone just threatened your ex-wife. Your girl. Yeah, they're still exes at this point. And he's like, you know, they're always sabotaging each other in these competitions. It's nothing. But I mean, like, you're going to take that risk? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
So she doesn't go out. She doesn't do the routine. And Jeff says now he wants to send death threats to her rival. So Nancy, yeah. So he believes that it was Nancy that sent in the death threats to Tonya to throw her off her game and mess her up, because they're competing for the spot on the Olympic team. So, you know, he thinks Nancy made that death threat to get in her head. So he says he wants to do the same thing back to her. So he starts talking with Sean. And this is when Sean, our boy, the international spy, the super spy, starts running away with it, going crazy. He gets his boys in Massachusetts, because Nancy lives in Massachusetts. He gets his boys that are over there to send letters. Well, this is what Jeff wants him to do.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we can't send letters from here. You know, that'll be suspicious. They'll think it's us. So he's like, okay, I'll get my boys over there to do it, to send some letters. But
gonna pay him $1,000.
Crazy.
I don't understand why. Like, Jeff didn't even ask what are the funds for. Like, I need $1,000. All right. Like,
he asked for it after.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, initially he's like $1,000 to send a couple letters.
Yeah. Like,
bruh, that's crazy. Well, I guess that's why. Maybe that was the miscommunication because Sean. Well, I think really what it was is that he did actually know that they were going to assault her.
Yeah.
Right. So like the $1,000 is for that.
Yeah.
But, in his interviews, he maybe doesn't admit to it, or they didn't want that to be black and white fact in the movie. So they wanted to leave that kind of up for interpretation. So that's why they made it like, no, I just told him to send letters
Yeah.
But you're right. Like if you ask someone to send letters and they charge you $1,000, you're not even going to question it.
Yeah. Like gas is not that much.
Gas to the post office. You can even just walk to your own mailbox. You don't even have to.
That's what I mean. Like, hey.
So yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was there to kind of throw us off to.
No, I think you're right.
To be not sure if he was involved or not. But anyway, so like I said, so instead of sending letters, Sean's boys assault Nancy. So he gets he breaks into her ice rink where she's practicing, hits her over the leg with a baton, and breaks her knee. So they see all this on the news. Jeff gets pissed at Sean. He goes to his house. He's yelling at Sean. He's like, "What the hell did you do? I just told you to send letters. Like, what the fuck happened?"
Oh my god, this shit was hilarious, man. It's like I changed the course of
yeah, Sean, man, is going crazy.
This was always the plan.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care what you said. This I did what needed to be done. I'm in charge here. And he even admits to Jeff that he's the one that called the death threat on Tonya.
Oh my goodness.
And Jeff is like, what the fuck are you doing, man? like Sean is a psycho, dude. Like what?
He just pointed to his head like, yeah, this was always
4 steps ahead. I'm always 4 steps ahead.
He's always got to be 4 steps ahead of everybody.
Sean is, Sean's lit, man. So we see next Tonya back on the ice, and she makes the Olympic team. So then the FBI catches the guy that did the assault. His name is Shane. This is Sean's boy that did the assault on Nancy. And then the FBI, so they now talk to Tonya and Jeff. So they're like, okay, we got this guy. Maybe he spilled or something. We're going to talk to them. And I guess, I get it. The motive is there, right?
Yeah.
She's your competition. So they're asking some questions. But they kind of talk them out. And Tonya says, nothing really to worry about because she knew about the letters thing, but she didn't know about the assault in the movie, at least. And again, this is all we don't know for sure.
It's all hearsay.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. Like, I feel it's tough because you watch this movie, so you look through it this perspective. I watched a couple videos to hear like Nancy's side and stuff, to kind of hear both sides, but it's just like I could literally see it going either way. Because like maybe she did hear about the like, oh, we might do an assault or something like that, and she's kind of just like, because like Jeff and them claim that she knew, but I mean, it's not like she's ever gonna come out and any report be like, yeah, I did know. So if she did, she's gonna stick to that story regardless.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say. Honestly, it's really tough to say. I'm leaning on the side that she didn't know.
Okay.
Just because the Sean character.
Okay.
he seems a little insane, and so I want to side with her.
You believe that he went and did it all on his own, or
I do believe,
but
so.
I
He's
do think
loose
that
cannon.
I do think that Jeff knew
all about the
assault
attack. Like, okay, yeah.
That's what I think.
That. Yeah.
I think that he knew, but again, this is all based on the movie. I haven't read into the story at all to get any clear facts. And like we've mentioned, like the stories, it's funny. There's satire. It's over the top. So some of it's definitely not true. So based on the movie, but I think the movie also leads you to believe that. So we might just be sheep that are, can't think for ourselves and are.
No, it's true. Yeah. You're right.
Oh. So we find out that Sean flipped to the FBI. This guy's just telling everybody. He's like, I got guys down in Sweden that are taking down the Russian government as we speak, brother. And then he's like, yeah, I got those are my boys that took out Nancy, man. Like he's just telling the whole world. And so the FBI finds him, obviously, and he flips. He says, no, it was Jeff.
Yeah, so quick.
So quick. This guy's hilarious, but what a bad friend. Like if you just asked him to send letters and instead he bashes the girl's knee in, and now he's like, yeah, that was my plan the whole time. And then he flips on you instantly to the FBI, man. Sean.
And he folded so fast with the FBI too. Like they come over to ask, hey, are you Sean? And he's like, no. And then his mom calls him. Everybody, he's acting like he didn't know. You know who, I don't know who Tonya Harding is.
Aren't you her bodyguard? I don't know who
Yeah. I don't know her well. I don't know. You know who Nancy Kerrigan is? No, I don't know who that is. You don't know who that Nancy Kerrigan? No. Like everybody just doesn't know.
Yeah, he's horrible, man. He's horrible at lying.
Terrible.
But hey, he's still an international super spy.
You're right. Don't get her twisted.
Yeah. So he sets Jeff up. So he calls Jeff and wants to meet up, and they meet up. But Jeff knows that he's wired somehow. And
wow, no, he's the first thing he says, you're sweating more than usual. So I think he was just really not like relaxed in that moment. He's like, okay, something's a little off here.
Yeah,
off here.
Good point. So he knows. So he doesn't say anything. Like Sean's trying to get him to say something. He's like, oh, you have to give me some more money for that attack that we did. And he's like, man, what are you talking about? There wasn't no attack. If you keep talking, I'll have to turn you into the authorities. And blah, blah. Yeah. So he doesn't incriminate himself. Nice work, Jeff. They see Jeff and Tonya then go to see a lawyer. Her coach's husband is a lawyer, so they go talk to him. And Tonya then ends up flipping on Jeff to the FBI. So she goes into the FBI and gives a statement, saying that Jeff knew about it and it was his idea, blah, blah, blah. And then Jeff pulls up to her room or her house, starts freaking out on her, like, you turned me in, blah, blah, blah. I was like, how does he know this? And then he's like, they showed me your transcript. And she's like, what the fuck? And me too. I was like, why the fuck would they do that?
That's what I was thinking too. Was it like the next day? Yeah. I felt like no time passed and they already just showed. I don't know why they would do that either. But I was thinking the exact same thing. If
I'm her, let's go through this for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Tonya. I go and I give my interview statement. And I give my statement. I say, okay, yeah, it was this guy's fault. He planned the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, cool. They bring him in, show him the transcript, and then let him leave? Isn't the point that I gave you this so you can arrest him? Like,
I know.
What was the point? If you were just going to come and be like, hey, by the way, she said this about you, and then there are impending charges, what did they think was going to happen?
I don't know. It made no sense to me. I was like, it's crazy.
And not
because he came. Yeah, go. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say not only that, but they already have a history of domestic violence. Like she's called the cops on him a bunch of times. So that plus this, you're just going to let him go?
And she did say, this is why I don't trust the police, because because even in that other scene too, like when the cop saw her with him after he like shot her, nothing happened, even though he had 2 guns in his car and had alcohol in the back seat. She's just like, there's all these like, this is why I don't trust cops. So
yeah, she even said it. She's like, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, like in that situation, the cop sees blood on me, sees guns in the car and alcohol. Yeah, doesn't do nothing, and then they do this. What are they doing?
They're dropping the ball.
Well, one was the cops and one was the FBI. They both suck.
That's true. It's even worse.
Yeah,
FBI. That's crazy.
So then we see Jeff, Sean, and the attacker. They all get convicted. So Jeff makes bail. We don't actually know what happens to Sean or the attacker. I don't think we see them.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really. They're at the they're in the court with them, but they just mostly focus on Jeff.
Yeah.
But we don't really like hear their side of the story. I mean, we don't really hear that. We never really hear those guys talk, but
no,
they just kind of disappear after that.
But they do another one of these fourth wall breaks here that was really cool. Like the camera follows them into the courtroom, and then it goes close up to Jeff, and he says, "Yes, I pled." Like he's looking at the camera and he says, "I pled guilty to knowing about the letters, but it wouldn't even matter that I didn't plead guilty about the attack because when I knew about it, I didn't turn them in. So either way, I'm guilty. But it was just cool the way the camera comes close to him and then he tells us that. I thought it was really cool.
No, I agree. I thought that was really cool too.
So then Tonya gets really famous, and well, I mean, she's been famous still, but
there's one thing I wanted to add too, like
ahead.
that killed me. It was that little interview that we got with Sean too, like when he's talking to the reporter or whatever it is. And he's like, that's when he's like, I'm an international counter-terrorist expert, and I work around the world. And then the interviewer calls him out. She's like, Sean, we checked into it, and you don't. And he's like, but I do.
Yeah, I know, it's so funny.
And they go back and forth. No, you don't. I do.
I do. He says it like 3 times, man. It's so good. He's fucking hilarious.
I actually looked into that interview. Was real.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
I didn't see the whole
Well, they played a little bit at the end.
Yeah, that's what right? I saw the little
I
bit.
watched the full thing, though. He literally says that exact thing. I'm an international and she calls him out on it, too. And it's just like, and there's a whole interview. I'm like, yo, this guy was actually crazy. That's why I'm leaning a little bit into Tonya. I'm like, this guy was really in your circle.
That's hilarious, man. I mean, it's funny, too, because the reporter, right, the one that he comes back into some of these the interviews.
Yeah.
He even mentions, he's like, man, how did these 2 boobs end up actually getting in and assaulting this girl in a whole story full of boobs? Like, he's just calling the boobs, and he's like, everybody's so stupid in this story. Like, Sean is such a fucking idiot. But like the fact that he actually is like that in real life,
like orchestrated this is hilarious. It's wild.
That's hilarious. So so Tanya's at her place. All the press is outside, like they're nonstop following her, and her mom comes to visit. And there's all these knocks on the door. She's like, go away, and then she keeps knocking. She finally opens up. It's her mom, so she pulls her in, and her mom's being nice to her. She's like, oh, I want you to know I'm proud. I'm actually proud of you. I feel bad about all the things that I did. And I was like, and this was the moment that we were talking about, that we were waiting for. They hug. And, we're like, okay, this is, she's finally feeling remorse, and, they can maybe start rebuilding their relationship. No, because she reaches her hand in her pocket, starts a recorder, and she asks about the attack. Tonya starts patting her down, finds the recorder, is like, you bitch.
Her mom is the biggest piece of shit, and it's comical at this point, because I don't know about you, but I believed it. I was like, oh, here's the reconcile, here's them coming together. And then she did that. I was like, her mom is a heel. She's an absolute villain
through and through.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, she has every opportunity to keep, because Tanya's given her their opportunity, right? Like, she's nice to her. She comes and gives her a hug. Like, she's ready to forgive her, and her mom's like, why does she even do that? Is she like,
I don't know. Like, is she gonna get money off of her admitting?
That's what
I'm
asking, because like she wasn't involved, right? So I'm like, if she was someone involved, then maybe you could get her to admit, and then you could strike a deal with the FBI so you don't get jail time or whatever. None of that would have been a problem for her. Why is she even doing this?
I don't know.
She's literally just a piece of shit.
It's crazy, man.
So she kicks her out of the house. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The lawyer suggests to Tonya that she makes a public apology.
Yeah.
About just for Nancy, basically, like not admitting that she had anything to do with it, but just saying, I'm sorry for what happened, and it is what it is, unfortunately.
And even being associated with Jeff.
Exactly. Guys, so saying, because Jeff's her ex-husband, and now it's been he's been convicted with his involvement in it. So she, she can say, I'm sorry that I was even involved with that guy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then we get back to the Olympics. So this is the next time. So it would have been the 94 Olympics, I guess, because it was 92. And it said only 2 years later. So we're at the Olympics, and she's freaking out because, everything, she has no real support system anymore. Her mom, that is totally gone. Not that she really had support from her anyway, but her husband, Jeff, is now gone. Her coach is with her, but that's pretty much it. And her skate gets messed up, like her lace breaks, and she thinks she's gonna get hurt, so she doesn't want to go and do the routine. but her coach convinced her. She starts, then she stops. Tells the judges, I'm sorry, I had to get out here on time because there was a time limit, but
Yeah.
my lace broke. They give her a chance to go and fix her skate, so she does. Then she does the rest of her routine, and she gets 8th place at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And again, this was another one that I thought would be a big climactic scene.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of over like that. Like, she's like, oh no, I can't get my skate on. And they're like, okay, yeah, you could fix it. I'm like, okay, here we go. She's going to kill it. And no.
And like, to jump back even more, like, I thought it was interesting too, like her putting her leg up on like the judges thing to show them her lace and anything. Like, I don't know if they showed that at the end, but I when I looked it up later in my research, there's actually like a shot for shot what she did. Like, she skated up to the judges and just put her leg right in front of them and was just like crying to them. It was kind of wild. Like, I didn't like. It's cool when they do like shot for shot things like that. And then sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say that yeah, it's you're right. It's cool when they do shot for shot things like this, and it makes sense. Like, if you actually have to show them your lace, how else would you do it?
No, it's true. It's just something you just wouldn't see though, because it's just something that like, did she actually do that? Like, it just seems so wild just to throw your your foot at a judge's, be like, yeah, look, you know what I mean? But it was just, I thought that was cool, and also I made the note that makeup scene kind of made me think of like the Joker. Like, when she was like putting on her makeup and crap. But I realized this movie actually came out before the Joker. So it kind of was, they did their own thing.
Yeah.
Joker came out after this.
Yeah, I did think of that too, actually. Yeah, you're right, because she's putting the makeup and the tears are coming down, and she's like trying to smile, and then she like starts to cry, and then she smiles again. But this was like Margot Robbie, it was stellar in that quick scene, like showing like she's so hurt and she's crying, but she's about to go out on the ice, right? So she can't show that, and she's wearing all this makeup, so she can't cry and mess it all up. So it's so she's like crying, and then she like snaps back and smiles, and then she starts to cry again. Like, this super close up on her face, and all the acting is just facial expressions, and it's so good.
No, really, it's powerful. It's really a powerful moment.
So right after the Olympics, again, quick scene. I thought it would be a big climactic, but it wasn't. We get to her in court, and she gets a sentence. So they said they had pushed it for the Olympics, and now she's back, and she gets basically her sentence is a whole bunch of fines, and a lifetime ban from the American Skating Association. And she is begging to the judge. She's like, no, I don't have education. I don't really have a career. Skating is literally all I have. And if you take that, she's like, send me to jail. Like, they got 18 months. Like, just send me to jail, but let me skate again. And he's like, nope, that's my decision. And she got her lifetime ban.
That was another really powerful scene too. Like to add to like that, even like that scene that was kind of like the Joker, like her like pleading with the judge and everything. And it is crazy too, because like, she left high school, or her mom took her out of high school so she could focus on skating. So it's like, you really do feel for him, even though this is a past event. Like, but when you're locked into the story, I'm like, yeah, damn. It's like, she can never skate again, and she has never even finished high school. Like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, what else can she do?
Like, it's really a powerful moment.
I mean, we do know at least that she's, like like we said, a self-proclaimed redneck, so she can live on her own. She can
that's true.
Do all these other things, but like, as far as making money, we, like she did before after the last Olympics, we assume she's just going to go back to waiting tables.
No, exactly,
because she has no education. Like, what else can you do? And then we finally see Jeff in there's a shot of him in his home interview, and he admits that he ruined her career. Basically, he's like, me doing this whole death threat thing, and then Sean getting it out of hand, but it all started with Jeff. So he's like, I basically ruined her career, because she had all the talent and the physical ability, but all this crazy shit going on the sides, like, she just couldn't handle it, and I ruined her career. And then the final couple shots, we see she starts boxing, just like it was funny. Like, when I saw that, I was like, now seeing that today, I'm like, man, that's just like every other failed celebrity or past their prime celebrity. They just start going into boxing matches to make money.
Hey, shit. the more things change, the more they stay the same, as they say, right? Like it's that's the go-to.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my career's failing. Let me go into a boxing match and just stay in the public eye, make somebody. And I mean, that's literally what she says. She's like, I just to pay the bills, like I had to do something. So she started boxing. Maybe she was the OG to start doing that. Everyone started taking that from her.
Hey, at the end of the day, we're all primal. We love seeing people fight, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
If it's someone that had any kind of like fame or something, it's like either if you like them or you hate them. Either you want to see them get punched in the face, or you want to see them go knock someone out. It works either way. That's why it's the perfect thing to get into boxing.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
It's that happy medium. There's a little cool shot too, because like we get to see that like Jeff's talking about how they moved on from him, and like the news cycle just moves on, and you can see that because like they're focusing now because the OJ thing just happened. Like the whole OJ. I don't know if you even realize that they had the OJ getting arrested on the news on the TV.
No, when was that?
It was when he was like one day, like I woke up and then the news crew was just going away.
Oh, that was because of OJ.
And on the TV it was showing. It was like they just had it like in the corner, and they're like, "Oh, they just went to his house, OJ Simpson." It was like really undertone. If you didn't look at the TV, you wouldn't have noticed it.
No, I didn't.
But that was like them insinuating that like they moved on because it was that same year. It's crazy to think like that incident happened, and then a couple of months later, the OJ thing happened. So it was like they moved on.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, that's kind of like what we were talking about before, right? Is like that's probably why nobody really talks about it anymore. You know, it's like the news cycle. Like as soon as the OJ thing happened, everyone would have forgot about this. Like really, the biggest thing that happened here was that an Olympic prospect got her knee broke.
Yeah,
OJ killed someone and went on a freaking car chase around the city.
Yeah.
Like that was
exactly. That's 10 times.
Yeah, it was much crazier. So people were very much forget about Tonya Harding. Let's focus on this OJ thing. So
no, exactly.
That's just the news cycle. But I didn't notice that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just something I noticed like on the when I was just scrubbing through looking for things. It's like, oh snap, OJ.
Yeah. No, I didn't notice that. Good catch. So just to close it out at the end of the movie, you know, like most documentary style films, we get a few little captions saying where people are at now, and the Tanya's remarried with a child, and Jeff is on his third wife with a family, and her and her mom still don't have contact, and basically not a whole lot has changed, but that's where we got to. So
Sean passed away in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't mention that, but I saw that and I was looking up. He passed away.
He passed. He probably on a super secret mission. Is that it? Like
maybe he probably faked. He faked his death. He's still doing his shit.
You're probably right. He was in the OJ. He was probably in the OJ car chase, but he actually knows what happened, so they had to kill him off, or he had to. Now he's in Guatemala and unreachable. But he's still got his finger on the pulse, I guarantee you.
Yeah, 100%.
Sean pulling all the strings, man.
Yeah, he's sitting with Tupac and Biggie and Cuba right now.
Exactly.
He's their bodyguards.
Exactly.
Making sure nobody. All right, let's go this way, guys.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm a super anti-terror. I don't know. Captain of the world. And I'll keep you safe. All right, so. Do you have anything else, or shall we get to a few facts?
We can get right into the facts. What do you got?
I don't got much. I got to be honest. I got a couple.
Okay.
But really the one that I'll say is Allison Janney. So she played Lavana, so Tanya's mom.
Yeah.
She won Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild, and Critics' Choice Movie Awards for that year.
Well deserved, honestly.
So like she cleaned up, man.
Oh, she really did.
And it was interesting because the writer, Steve Rogers, said he wrote this character. Why? Again, it's not a character; it's a real person. But like he wrote this role with her in mind. Like they're friends.
Oh, really?
And so he wrote this role for her. They said they never were able to work together before this. It just never worked out. Mm-hmm. But he wrote this for her, and it clearly worked out. She bodied it and cleaned up.
Oh yeah, she really did. Like again, it's like she played that role so well, just being completely like devious and just being just a terrible person. She just It was really well portrayed.
There's so many close-ups of her. Like there's a couple when they're at like she's at a diner or a bar or something watching Tonya at the Olympics or at a competition or whatever, and there's so many close-ups of her face just like brooding, like you could see like she's kind of pissed off that she's doing well, like her own daughter, but like
I
just
know it's
complete piece of shit.
That's all you can say.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It's just a horrible person. The one thing they mentioned it briefly, like in the movie, just about the news cycle. It kind of goes into facts, kind of like just building like on a discussion on it. But they talked about like around that time was like the rise of like of CNN with the 24 news cycle, which is because I saw the director say that was kind of like it's kind of like a caution of the tale of like where we are now, of like, because we talk about it all the time with like sports news cycles where it's just like there's nothing for them to talk about, but they'll make up these random stories. And like that was like around the time where I was like, obviously this was a big story, but it got so much publicity because like everyone was starting to do the 24 news cycle thing. They're like, okay, this is a thing. Like everyone just attached themselves to it. Because I wonder like if this was like in a time when they only had like the evening news, would it be that crazy of a thing? Like there's so many things going on in the world. Like it's still pretty big, but I think just the media frenzy that was around it was just like hyper, like just was blown up just because of that whole thing. And the director said, and the director / writer talked about how like we really tried to like show you that how much, and it is, when you think about it too, like I even watched a couple of clips like outside, like on YouTube and stuff, and they were interviewing everybody. Like everybody got interviewed. Like cops got interviews. Like you're saying, like Sean, the fact that Sean, all these dudes got interviews. Like everyone got an interview. It was just, there was so much coverage. Like this coach got interviewed. This coach got interviewed. It's just like anybody they could talk. Which was again surprising. They never talked to the dad. I never saw any dad interviews.
Yeah,
but
yeah. What did the dad do, man? Nobody cares about the dad.
No, man. Like
maybe Sean took care of him, and he's in a basement somewhere locked up, or he's 6 feet under with, I don't know. But no, it's interesting, and you're right. Like she even mentions in the movie in one of her interviews, she's like, I thought being famous would be fun, and it was for a little bit, but having paparazzi at your door 24/7 would be friggin' horrible. And it's crazy that like this became such a big story for, like I said, a pretty minor implication. Like one girl got her knee broken. Like how is that crazy? Especially in the world of figure skating. Like it's not like it's the biggest sport in the world, it's not like soccer and someone assaulted Mbappe, right? Like everyone would be talking
100%.
about that,
but for sure.
In figure skating in the early 90s, like do people care that much about it, or did it just like it became a news story and people became interested, so they covered the shit out of it and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger? Like, you know what I mean? Like the FBI gets involved and all that. Maybe because it's directed or related to the Olympics. Maybe that kind of makes it bigger, but I don't know.
You know what I think too? I think sometimes we forget, and I always get reminded this, like whenever I was like talking to my dad or something, but like, because we were talking about this last time, I don't think we talked about this on the pod, but we talked about how much content there is nowadays and stuff like that. Yeah. So you kind of got to take yourself back to a time where there was like no social media. You know what I mean? Stories were just bigger back then, I feel like, because again, like in certain places you couldn't even watch, like, how we have the privilege of watching every basketball game.
Yeah.
Back then, like you just could watch only your local team or whatever it is. There's no streaming services. You have to go to the movie. You know what I mean? There's a couple TV shows. So like when there's a big story, it's huge. And the Olympics, I feel like the Olympics were bigger back then too. I still think the Olympics are big now, but if I decided that I didn't want to watch the Olympics this year, I don't feel like I'd be missing out because there's so many things I could be doing besides watching the Olympics. It's not like, oh man, like I don't watch the Olympics, there's gonna be nothing for me to do. That's not the case. There's nothing that's going on in the world that if you don't watch it, you'll feel like maybe you'll feel like you're missing out if other people are talking to you about it. But it's just like there's so many things you can watch. Like there's just so much going on that you can easily distract yourself. But when the Olympics are happening in the 90s, it's like I feel like it was just bigger.
Yeah, you're probably right. And especially now too, because of the 24-hour news cycle and social media, like say you don't watch the Olympics at all, but if something big and crazy happens, you'll see it on Instagram or clips. Twitter or TikTok or any YouTube, anything, right? Like people will be talking about it. So you'll see whatever the big crazy thing is that people are talking about. But like you're, just watching the preliminary heats of the 200-meter sprint.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to watch that. Nobody cares. You know, like the final, when people are talking about it, but you'll just see that on in social media. So you're right. I think, that there just was less content, less news. So when something becomes big, it just becomes exponentially bigger because it's the only thing people are talking about.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it breeds more to just the live event too, because if like, let's say that something crazy happens in like a figure skating thing that like, or not figure skating, but any summer event that happens, and like in any Olympics, and it's like, oh, you see the clip later, and if you see the clip later versus this person that watched it live, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I saw it live. You'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like if it was like LeBron hit a game-winning shot or something. Maybe seeing that live would mean a little more because when it's like the playoffs and something like that, I don't know what it is. For whatever reason, I feel like it wouldn't be. If you were like, I was there when it happened, you'd be like, oh shit. But if you watched it live and I watched a clip of it, we both saw it at the end of the day.
Right.
So to me, it's like that whole thing is not really it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah. Good point.
In that sense.
So I got one more fact.
Okay, go.
That Jeff Gillooly. So that was his last name, Gillooly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Her ex-husband refused, like in real life, he refused to take any money for his life rights or like the interviews for the movie. So for them to portray him in the movie and the interviews that he gave, he didn't take any money. He says that he takes responsibility for the incident and ruining Tonya's career, and he doesn't want to profit from it. So I was like, look at this guy being a good guy after there's a whole movie of him beating the shit out of Tonya.
And
like, shooting her and like, I mean, I don't know if this is your redemption journey, but not taking money, I think. Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I know you're right.
I think they're both pretty fucking bad. I just thought that was interesting.
No, that is interesting. I didn't see that. I was thinking that he was involved somehow, just because I know that I know that I knew he was involved because I remember the guy that played. Why am I forgetting the guy that plays
Sebastian
Jeff's
Stan?
Name again? Yeah, Sebastian Stan. He said he talked to him to try to get things. So like the fact that he talked to him means like, okay, he helped with it. Some kind of involvement to.
I'm sure he's not happy with how he was portrayed though. Like if he's seen the movie,
probably not,
because he's portrayed like a complete dick. And
no, that's true.
I mean, he even says in his interviews that he never touched her. He never laid a hand on her. But at the same time, like her mom was commenting on, black eyes that she was getting and stuff like that. So like, if all that was happening, then it's probably was him. But we don't know for certain. I don't know for certain.
No, that's true. That's true.
No, do you got anything else?
All right. So now let's get into the filmies.
Yes, sir.
So for anyone, if you're new to the show, we have an award parts of our show. So we have 6 awards that we give out. We're going to go through them one by one. The first award that we have is called the Ferris Bueller Award. So it's moments in the movies that we deem lazy. It's either through the director, writer, it's something a character did or said. But again, it's usually just something that's small and doesn't actually hurt the movie. But it's fun to point them out. So Scott, what is your Ferris Bueller Award?
So my Ferris Bueller Award goes to Sean's parents.
Okay.
Very simple. Just for not doing anything about him being shady as fuck. Like he lives in the house, right? And like Jeff comes over a couple of times and they're screaming at each other because Jeff is like, "What the fuck did you do? I want my money back." And his like they're doing this in the kitchen and his parents are just in the living room and they're right there and they don't say anything. They don't do anything. They're not like, what is my son up to? Like he's like, why does he need his money back? And they're on the phone with all these weird people and the FBI is coming and his mom's just bringing tea and like sandwiches. Like, do something. Like, why you guys are being so lazy? Like your son is obviously not like he's doing bad shit. Do something. They get my lazy.
That's a good award. I'll give pushback, then I'll agree with you. The only thing I'd say is that their son talks probably so much nonsense to them that they probably don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. We only saw little parts of Sean. I can only imagine what his parents hear. I can only imagine what his parents hear.
That's a good point. But
where I'll agree with you is the fact that they're seeing on the news with him what happened to Nancy, and he's saying, "Yeah, I did it." So that should be an inkling of like, okay, maybe there's something going on. But again, maybe they're just like, yeah, sure you did it.
And then the FBI shows up, and
Yeah,
but
that's
you would
true.
also know, like, okay, you're Tanya's bodyguard. This is
Yeah.
Tanya's
Rival.
and
Yeah.
something happened. Like sure, if it was just some random person that you have no connection to, and you're like, yeah, I did it, you'd be like, yeah, shut up, Sean.
Yeah.
But if it's like you actually have a connection here,
Mm.
like, come on, guys, do something. And he told the whole rest of the world. He probably told them. I mean,
Yeah,
like you
no,
said,
sure.
they probably don't believe it, but like, nah, they're being lazy.
100% being lazy. I agree with you. That's a
Okay.
good word. I didn't even think about it. Honestly, in that scene when he was just like claiming to it and they were in the kitchen, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what are the parents?
Yeah, what are
They're
they
just hearing
doing?
this?
He's right there, and he's like choking him out.
Yeah.
Like Jeff grabs him and starts choking him out, and they're just standing there like doing nothing. Like, come on, guys,
I don't know, man.
lazy.
That's fair. I like that. But my lazy award goes to so Diane, like that was like the name of her coach.
Okay.
For folding so quick at the beginning. So I don't know if this is on her or if it's on Steven Rogers, like the guy that actually wrote it. But 1 minute you're telling Tanya's mom she doesn't train beginners, and then she's like she didn't take students on this young. And then all Tanya has to do is just skate by her,
Yeah,
smile at her, and then we get a flash forward of her just now part of her. She folded so quickly.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, that doesn't really make her lazy, but I'm maybe leaning towards Steven Rogers of like, you couldn't wrote a better way of her being accepted.
Yeah.
Besides her just skating past her.
I kind of noticed that too in the moment. I was like, because like she was like, no, I don't take on kids this young or beginners. And then her mom's like, show her. I thought she was gonna go and start doing like spins and shit. She's literally just like walked by like at the slowest little skate and was like, and then she was on. I was like, that was it. I thought she would need a more, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, it was just like you folded that quickly. I'm like, all right, whatever.
It was quick, and to be honest,
very quick.
I had trouble choosing what lazy award. There's a lot of laziness in this movie, and like we said, it's satire and comedy, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's like for me, especially like when they were 15 years old.
Yeah.
And they really use Margot Robbie and Sebastian Stan. Like, these dudes look 40. Like, what are they? How are you so lazy that you can't cast a kid? Like, when she was 4, you used a small girl, and then when she was like 12, you used a small girl. You couldn't have got a 15-year-old actress to play her. Why did you just throw in this? I don't know how old Margot Robbie was at the time, but she does not look 15.
No, she does not.
Sebastian Stan looks even less like he's 15. Like, what are they doing?
That literally made me pause the movie and check to see how old Jeff was supposed to be. Because I'm like, this dude just posted there with his mustache. I'm like, this looks like a crime. What am I watching?
You're right, bro. He's tall as hell. Like he's working on a car. Like you can't do that when you're a teenager, man. This 15? Craziness. That almost got my lazy award.
That's fair. That's fair. So what is your fit check? What's your fit check of the movie?
My fit check, ironically, we just talked about it, goes to Tanya when she's going to see Jeff when they're 15.
Oh, okay.
So when he's working on his car, she's going to see him. This is like their first. This is after their first date, but her mom's not there, so they're kind of awkwardly flirting. But anyways, so she's walking down the street going to see Jeff. She's got on light pink sneakers.
Okay.
Some kind of like sporty looking sneakers, like some New Balance or something fresh. Dark pink jeans. It's kind of like a fuchsia, like a pink, like a dark pink purpley kind of. They were fresh.
Okay. I don't remember this fit. Keep going.
And then her shirt, she had a light pink and baby blue striped shirt. Horizontal stripes, so like the light pink matched the kicks, and the dark pink of the pants kind of like countered it, and then the baby blue in there was fire.
Okay.
And then on top she's got her fur coat, so the one that she made with the rabbits. So it's so she got the fur coat over top with the pink kicks and the shirt that matches and the bright pants, like very 80s or 90s.
For sure.
So like it was clean.
Very vibrant. Okay, I gotta go. I don't remember that. Like, I remember the scene, but I don't remember the fit. I don't remember the. So you said pink shoes that threw me off. I was like, I don't remember this fit.
You actually get a perfect view because there's a shot of her walking straight like toward the camera.
Yeah.
And the camera starts on the ground and slowly pans up. So we literally get her whole fit top to bottom,
okay.
and I was like perfect. I was
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they told the costume designer like, okay, for this scene, we're gonna get a shot of the whole fit, make it a good one.
Yeah,
because there's gonna be some bozo in 8 years from now that's gonna be making a podcast, and he's gonna point it out.
And you come correct.
And that's me.
And you did it for them. Yeah, there you go. And you did it for them. We didn't start just shouting out the actual people that do the costumes.
Facts.
It's about time we got to.
You're right.
But Margot Robbie got my fit check too. She had a lot of fits in this.
Yeah.
I mean, she's into most many more than anybody else. But I went a little more simple with my fit. It's not as I don't want to say grandiose, but it's not as flashy as yours. This one was a different era. It wasn't like 90s, like vibrant. It was. I don't know what the shoes were. She had some white shoes. She got the denim jeans, black belt. I like the purple, like a purple little, almost like, I think it was like a V-neck. It didn't go all the way too high. It kind of went like mid-neck, still really nice. But the whole thing that was carrying the whole outfit was just like the brown aviator jacket that she was rocking.
Ooh.
So it's a fresh ass jacket. I don't think I could pull it off, but she was pulling it off.
This sounds familiar. What point in the movie was this?
It was an hour in 24 minutes. It was when she came back from meeting the lawyer, and then they were leaving.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's when they were telling, like, they're trying to get their story straight with the lawyer. That was the first time we saw that Diana's husband was a lawyer. So then they're trying to get their story straight and everything, and they're leaving in a rush. And I was like, oh damn, that's a clean jacket.
And the jacket had like in the folds over the chest had the fur, right?
Yeah,
the white fur. Yeah, that was clean. Yeah, that was
clean jacket. As soon as when I watched the first time, I was like, nope. I was like, that's a fresh ass jacket. She wore it again when she was talking to her mom, but she had a different fit with it. But I like the purple with the brown jacket on.
Okay,
I messed with that jacket.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my fit check. So the next award we have is the 6-man award, and I feel like we were probably leading the same way on this. But let's see, what is your 6-man?
So my 6-man, I kind of thought about it because I wasn't sure if he was eligible.
Yeah,
but it's Sean.
Yeah,
it's Sean. The dude is hilarious. He's got like the full commitment to the super serious like spy espionage bit is incredible. Like he's eating in every single scene pretty much too, which I think is just funny. Like the scene in the car where he's talking shit the whole time, saying like, "Nah, I'm a like you said, Jeff wasn't even talking. He's just driving. And Sean is just spitting all this dumb shit about how he's like the next president of the United States and how he's a god at anti-terrorism, all this. He's fucking amazing.
No, I agree. And that's my 6-man is the exact same person. So I'll just throw in my things. We talked about a couple of them. It's the scene where he's in the back seat and just like he refused to be a backseat driver in the whole movie, right? But it's like every scene he was in, I feel like he just had to, because even the very first scene we see him is when Jeff and Tonya are just locking eyes, and when Jeff is locking eyes with her, you just see Sean on the side just aggressively eating a hot dog.
Yes.
Like they purposely had him in frame because like you need to see this guy. He's gonna be all throughout this movie just giving you comic relief, and it was just. Oh my god, he was just so funny. And then again, go.
Well, he just demands attention every time he's on screen. Like this is what a 6-man is, man. He has like it's someone with a limited role. Like his role, I was like, it's kind of a medium-sized role. I don't know if it's a small one, but I was like, fuck it, he has to get an award. So I can bend the rules for this. So I was like, this guy is fucking killer in every scene. And like when they're at the skating rink and he's telling Jeff about, he's going to get his guys to break her knee. And Jeff was like, no, just send letters, just send death threats. Like, no, don't do it. He's like, are you kidding me, man? Like, do you know who I am? Like, you're not telling me what to do. Like, I know what I'm doing here. Like, he's so serious. He's fucking hilarious. It's so good.
There's one line that I didn't catch until I was scrubbing through again, where he's like egging Jeff on, like we're in the whole, the whole like, no, fuck you, like the whole scene.
Yeah,
when they're
yeah.
getting in the car, he's like, yeah, don't let her get the last word. None of my women get the last word. And I was like, you're women. I'm like, Jeff should have like said something on that. What are you talking about? Your women?
This guy does not pull.
No,
this guy does not pull. There's no
does
shot.
Not pull.
But it's
that
also it's also like he's so serious about his guys in Massachusetts too. He's like, nah, man, you can't get your money back from these guys. These guys are legit. You don't want to cross these guys. These are just two fucking idiots that are driving through a car. Like the news reporter even says he's like, okay, we can see him staking out the arena and he's moving his car every 15 minutes to avoid suspicion. Like, what a fucking idiot. And Sean just
that
like,
for 2 days.
Yeah, like what a moron, man. And fucking Sean is talking these guys up, saying like, no, you don't want to mess with these guys. You don't double cross these dudes. They'll mess you up. Every time he's on screen, I'm laughing.
Oh my god!
And he deserves an award for something. I was like, I don't think he's my MVP. And his role is small enough that I think he's coming off the bench. I was like, he's my sixth man.
You're not hearing anything from me because I have the exact same person as my sixth man. And it was the one line that really popped me is just when he was like, I'm finally admitting to that he was in charge. He's a guy in my profession having to think 4 steps ahead of everyone. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What even is your profession, bro? You live at home. Like, I guess you're the bodyguard. Yeah, 4 steps ahead. And then he's like, yeah, I called the hit on Tonya. Jeff is like, why the fuck would you do that? 4 steps ahead. He's hilarious.
Oh my god! All right, so yeah, we got the same six. We're in unity on that.
Beautiful,
on the six
beautiful.
man. Oh fuck! So the next one we got is your favorite quote of the movie. What was your favorite quote?
So my favorite quote. You actually you talked about it.
Oh shit!
But I don't blame you because you were like, I have to bring this up, and I don't blame you. It's fucking hilarious. It's Sean, of course.
Yeah.
And it's from that news interview, like you said, where he's like, he says, I'm a professional bodyguard. I work around the world in counterterrorism and espionage. And then the interviewer says, you don't. And he says, but I do. And then she says, we checked and you don't. And he says, but I do. And then she says a third time, you don't. And he says a third time, but I do. And like he changes his delivery his on tone. Each of the but I do's, and they fucking took me out, man. Each one is so fucking funny. Just like he's not backing down from this. She's like, bro, we checked. You don't do this. He's like, but I do. Like, no, I do. Like it's just so funny, man. I had to get my quote.
No, I am not mad at that. That scene killed me too. It's like you said, it's the last, but I do.
But I do. I do. And then he goes on, he's like, but I do. No, I do this and I'm responsible for that. And it's like, you don't do any of this shit, bro. Like, what are you even talking about?
Oh man, this dude's watched way too much TV in his basement, man.
He's amazing.
I don't know how he got like that. But
the audacity
he's a special case.
It's crazy.
Oh, man, he's a special case, man. Oh, that's hilarious. My quote. It wasn't a funny quote, but it was at the end of the movie when Tonya was saying, haters always say, Tonya, tell the truth. There's no such thing as the truth. It's bullshit. Everyone has their own truth, and life does whatever the fuck it wants. And I like this quote just because it goes back to the whole like news cycle thing of like people having like their agendas and having to feed their bases. And the whole movie kind of like is that talking about like this is like her truth, right? I mean, like all this whole time we're kind of hearing Nancy's truth through the media and stuff. So now she wanted to give her truth. And there was even an interview with like the mom, and the mom is like saying her truth, where she said in the interview with Oprah back in 2009 that she only hit Tonya once. She's only ever hit her once. She's like, I will admit I did hit her one time. And I'm like, if the fact that she hasn't talked to you in 15 years tells me you did more than just hit her one time.
You stabbed her.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's like, it just really puts an emphasis on like people just sticking to their truth and just staying with them. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, sometimes it's very easy for you to live in like an ignorance of something, where it's just like, if you think something is your truth and you just never check the other side. So in this sense, to you, it is the truth because you're not even going to do the due diligence of actually checking to see what is the other side. She's like, no, this is my truth. I'm going to stick with it. She just never even, her mom never even go looks to the other side of her. So I just thought that was an interesting quote just because it doesn't just apply to her mom, just like a lot of things in general of just like people having their truths, whatever it's like their news station they listen to, their sports guy they listen to. You don't want to listen to Skip Bayless. He talks about how LeBron sucks all the time.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to anybody else. You're not going to listen to Colin Cowherd who praises LeBron or Nick Wright. You're just like, nah, that's my guy. I hate this guy. I'm only going to listen to the things that this guy shits on him, and that's all I'm going to listen to. This is my truth. And it's just like, it's true.
I can get that for something that's like opinionated, like sports, right? Like, you know, you see that and you're like, oh, this guy sucks or this guy's the best. Like, it's opinionated. But like to literally say I only hit her once and like throughout the whole movie, she's just smacking her in the face or like beating the shit out of her. Like, I mean, at that point, why even admit to hitting her once?
Yeah, I know.
Like, if you're gonna lie about the rest of them, why even admit to the one time? What's the point?
I don't know, because Oprah said she wanted to come on. She's like, I got to give Oprah something.
What was on Oprah?
But it was on Oprah. Oprah interviewed the mom in 2009.
Oh, wow.
And she only admitted to hitting her once. Just crazy.
What was the was that like on her live show, like on TV?
Yeah.
Was the audience like, oh, yeah.
I didn't see it. It was just like a clip. It just showed the clip of Oprah asking her saying that, and then it cut to something else. Okay. So it didn't get like the audience reaction, but I know that I'm assuming they did probably gasp or something. Yeah. But it's crazy, man.
But what's the point of even admitting once? Why? If you
she admitted to the hairbrush thing,
right?
But she said she only hit her once with the hairbrush. But in that scene, she was just whacking her constantly.
Yeah, beating the shit out of her. The lady walks in the room and she's like, it's just crazy that her mom's so unapologetic all the time. Like, she's beating the shit out of her daughter. The girl walks in the room and she's like, "What?"
Yeah,
like, what do you mean, what? Stop doing that.
That's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, so that's my quote. So what is now? Then move on to the next award. What is your best scene?
So my favorite scene is when Tonya calls the cops on Jeff and they get divorced. Mm-hmm. Mostly because of what happens like right after. Like I said, there was that long take that I was talking about that we're not sure if they spliced it together or how exactly they did it, but I thought it was really cool. And then right after this is when he goes to the hotel and he shoots her. So that whole scene, like the suspense kind of the tension in the room of what's going on. I mean, we basically know that he's probably gonna physically abuse her, but we don't know exactly what's gonna. And he's got a gun, so we're like, oh shit! Now like things are different, right? Like what's gonna happen? And then when the cop pulls him over and does nothing, I thought that was really telling and important for her. You know, when she mentioned it, she even broke the fourth wall again one time in this scene, which I felt like I wanted to work into my best scene because it happens a bunch of times in the movie and I really like it. So this was the one where she's narrating in the background saying, the cops saw the blood on me and the alcohol and the guns, and the camera showing us all of these things. And then it cuts to her sitting in the passenger side and she's like, and then she talks to us and she says, but the cop didn't do anything. And that's why I don't trust cops. And just the way that they seamlessly work in narration behind the scenes, like behind the visuals, and then just work that into the character physically talking to us, but like it's still part of that narration is so cool. And I just really liked the way these few instances were put together, and that's my best scene.
No, that's a really great scene. Like I agree. I really do like the whole. We were getting into it before we even like really got into the movie. Just like the style, it's just cool. The way they shot. It was just like it's so unique. And even though I was saying that I kind of saw them do something like this in The Big Short, it wasn't done like this though. Like they did like their own thing with this, where it just made it really unique. And this specific style, especially like you said, like moving into a scene and like someone's narrating it, and then it goes to that person talking, like in that like flawless way too, is just like, it's just so unique, and it's like interesting and cool style.
Yeah, that's why I got to work that into my best scene.
No, it's fair, 100%. So my favorite scene is the incident scene, just because it was like a mix of a bunch of emotions. Like it's probably the most, just to use our word, the most tenseful part of the movie, and well, one of them where it's just like I just like the comedy of it, like the whole point how he's supposed to be keeping like a low profile, but he's walking in and he looks so strung out, like look, he hasn't slept in days. He's kind of just like all like bug-eyed, kind of just like they're like, don't make eye contact. He's just like bumping into people. He's like, which one's Nancy? They're like, that one over there. And then it's just the fact that he, first of all, he takes out his weapon, he whacks her with it in the knee, and he's just holding on to it the whole time, like walking around. People looked at him after he hit it. He's just like, oh, trying to figure out where to go. He fucking trying to get out. He headbutts the fucking glass door to try to get out.
Oh my god!
And then as he's getting out, then there's like a dude in front of him. He just tackles the guy, and then
for no reason.
I don't know if like he bumped. It looked like he just tackled him. It didn't look like he was in his way. It looked like he tackled the guy and then got up and then just ran to the car
for no reason, bro.
What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, that's a great scene because I literally just thought about it right now. Like as you were talking about, like headbutting the glass is crazy. First of all, but also he didn't have to, like he had to get out, so I get that, but you're literally holding a baton.
That's
use that. Why did you headbutt it? And I also find it funny that, like you said, when he was bumping into people, because the one guy that he bumped into and he asked like, where's the bathroom?
Yeah,
he bumped into him because he's turning around and he's like staring at a girl's ass.
Yeah,
and it's like that almost got my lazy award. I was like, dude, you're gonna ruin the whole operation just because.
Yeah, I know.
You're checking out some girl. Like,
ass.
come on, dude.
I was thinking the same thing too. I'm like, this guy's fumbling the whole mission. Just to look at cheeks.
I thought that was funny though. Like what you just said. Like, what the fuck did I just watch? That's a great way to just summarize that scene. That's a good one. I like it.
Because to me, it escalated to the max when he headbutted the thing. I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "How is he getting out of this unscathed?" Obviously, that was dramatized. Like, I'm sure it didn't go like that, but it was just so damn funny, that scene, and I just loved it.
Nice, good call. I like it.
So now we get to the big grandiose award, the MVP, most valuable performance of the movie. Who was your MVP?
My MVP goes to Craig Gillespie, the director.
Okay,
so. It's kind of like what we talked about already, like a lot of the fourth wall breaks that go like into the story, like the narration that cuts into someone talking. Really love that. That was really cool. The editing was really great too. Like there was a lot of cut, like the way they cut in and out of interviews, right? Because there's long parts of the story where you're seeing the story play out and the actors like playing it through the characters, and then it cuts to a home interview where they're talking about what's happening. And there was a couple moments where even there was quick cuts back and forth, like something would happen and then someone in an interview would talk about it, and then the next part of that sequence would happen, and then so all those quick cuts in and out were I really enjoyed. I thought it kept me on my toes and everything like that, but it wasn't so frantic and crazy that it's confusing. Right. Yeah. Like if you do it a little too much or a little, it's not planned correctly, then you could be like, okay, wait, where are we? Like, cause there's lots of time skips in this movie too. So it's like, okay, what year is this? Like at what point in her training are we at? Like what's really going on? But it's done really, really well. And the last thing I'll say is that I thought it was a great balance of different people's point of views. Like it wasn't just Tonya and then the supporting characters are in when they fit into her story. We also see, like Jeff's side of the story and his whole side with Sean and that crazy sequence. We see a lot of her mom's point of view and, the way she's going through the events of the story. And I thought it was a great mix to keep all of the characters involved. And it's just done super well. And I thought, basically all that boils down to the director, and that's why he gets my MVP.
No, it's good. I completely agree with that. You're well deserved, because like as we were just praising him before, like just the style of the movie was just so unique, and just the way, like you said, they portrayed the stories and everyone. Because again, like obviously the mom was just portrayed as a monster. It's not like we got like there was no like sympathy, like, oh well, they're like a flashback. My mom was mean to me. It's like, no, we're not. It's not that kind of movie. It's just like, she was horrible, and we're really trying to tell Tanya's story. And like I just thought, like you said, the way it was just presented to us was just really, really well done.
Yeah,
So I like it. It's a good MVP. I like it.
Appreciate it. Give me yours. Let me hear it.
So my MVP goes to Margot Robbie.
Okay.
So I think it was just a great performance. I think there's a lot of great performers in the movie, like we said, like Sean and everything, like everything. Even like the mom, like they're great performances. But to me, I just want to give it to her because like I feel like the star power of her being in the movie didn't actually distract me from the story, because we've talked about it before, like with like, oh, like in Inception, like could Brad Pitt do this, and we don't know if that kind of thing. And like I feel like she, especially at this time, I mean, even in retrospect of her like knowing who she is and everything, I never felt like when I was watching this movie it was her star power was too much for her. It was like, for someone who wasn't like completely familiar with the story, I felt like she didn't overpower the story to the point where I was like, I wasn't looking at Tonya. Like I felt like I was locked in and actually like focused on the story. I wasn't taking out like in the scenes where it was like sad and stuff, or like the knife scene, or like her crying and stuff. I was just like taken into like, oh damn, like this is Tanya's story. This is a sad moment in her life. I wasn't like taking out of it like, yo, Margot Robbie's killing it. You know what I mean? Like to me, like sometimes in a movie, it's like, oh man, Brad Pitt or like Will's hilarious. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can just get taken out of the movie just because like you like that actor so much and they're just like doing their thing. But I didn't really feel like she was like, oh, she's doing, like, I guess Margot Robbie doesn't really have like a thing in that sense. But to me, it was just like I was so focused on the story, and she just did an amazing performance of just portraying that character, especially as like we joked about how like she doesn't look like a 15-year-old. But I feel like she did a good job of like portraying like an awkward 15-year-old. At least like I feel like you saw the different she portrayed the different stages well of Tanya's life. It didn't feel like she was the same person throughout the movie. I kind of felt like she changed, not like dramatic changes, but like you saw there was some progression and like change in her character throughout the movie.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And that is, I feel like, tough to do, like as an actor, you get into character and you learn about how to portray a certain character, and then you have to kind of make subtle tweaks as you age, like as the character ages, which is interesting. But yeah, I think it was a great performance too, and especially because Margot Robbie, as you kind of mentioned, like she doesn't have a thing, and I kind of think that that's a mark of a good actor.
Yeah,
a really good actor, because I think an actor that has a thing can be something that like a crutch that they can kind of lean on. Whereas like regardless of what character you're playing, you're always doing this kind of little subtle thing, whatever it is. But for Margot Robbie, we've seen her in Barbie be super like positive and bubbly, and we've seen her in Suicide Squad, where she's again kind of funny and jokey, but like very independent, and like kind of has her own gravitas kind of as she interacts with different characters, because she's dangerous herself. And then in a role like this, where she's playing someone that's not really a girly girl, but has some masculine kind of aspects, and that's kind of her downfall of her character in this movie. But like, not the downfall, but like what's hindering her from like getting these scores and being successful. But like all these different characters that she's playing, and like each one is very different from each other, and she's playing them all very great. Like I think she's just a great actress, and this was another great performance. And it's the lead, so great choice for an MVP. I love it. That's going to be it for us. Thank you for listening. Remember to follow, subscribe, check in for new content on all of our socials, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Leave a comment, leave a review, 5 stars. And Dion, take us out.
I don't have anything clever.
Oh, no, he doesn't have anything.
I don't have anything clever this week.
All right, well.
Actually, no. Oh. I just want you guys to know that me and Scott are always 4 steps ahead of everybody.
Facts. Facts. We're actually international anti-terrorist super spies. Exactly. And we will see you next week.
Peace out.
Peace out.